Good evening, friends. So today is the fourth session of Misplaced, the webinar series, and there should have been two speakers as per plan, but the first speaker, Krishna Hirs from Hyderabad, for some unfortunate, turn of events. She's not well, basically. I hope she gets well soon. The good thing that happened for session 4 is our Mr. Muralidharan, as supportive as ever, in the last minute, he has taken both the topics. So he's going to talk on both the topics. So today it's going to be very unique. It's his session this Saturday. It's so nice to have him speak on two topics. The first topic, he will speak in whichever way he wants to, but the two topics are dreams and depressions in misplaced. The other one is how is misplaced and where it stands out. So these are the two topics. Mr. Muralidharan is very well known and a senior writer that we all know, most of us, even the ones who will be watching the video later on will know him. And I'm going to read out his profile, short profile, as I've done for others. P. Muralidharan is effectively bilingual, lives in Chennai, India. His short story collection, one short story, Shoulder, written in English directly, was selected for an anthology in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is the Hyderabad Readers and Writers Association. They are very well established and they are doing very well. So that was one story that was included in that anthology. And he has also, I'm not able to see, he got the Bharatidasan Award for Senior Writers in Theni. It was last year, 2019. And a short story based on the third gender. And a Tamil short story, Tappudan. It was also given the third prize, third or second, yes. And his works have been published in many literary journals, and he has two important works translated from English to Tamil. The one was the Sadhu, the other one is Shashi Tharoor's Why I Am a Hindu. That's a very popular book. So I welcome Mr. Muralidharan to take over the session. We look forward to hearing him. Please, Mr. Muralidharan.
Good evening. I thank the author for this opportunity.
You can increase the volume, please.
Hello, now I am audible?
Yes, not bad.
Okay, good. So, good evening. I thank the author for the opportunity. What makes Misplaced Head, the novel, outstanding? Let us take that topic first. And in my view, before I start with my views or my reviews on the outstanding, you can mute. Usha ma'am can mute.
Usha.
Can mute. Okay. So I will sum up the remarks of earlier speakers in the past 3 sessions on their views on how it was outstanding. The first speaker, the Bharatanatyam Guru Radhika Sujit ma'am mentioned that all the Navarasas in the dance form or the Bharatanatyam, and all these Navarasas or 9 emotions, she is able to find in Misplaced Dates, and actually I have taken it briefly. Ma'am very beautifully told the various instances in which she found the Navarasas. That is that was one thing. The next speaker, Vidya Velayudham, found that psychology, culture, and history all are interwoven very well as a part of this novel. Then Mr. Gautam Sashidharan, in his session, he told even a person who is not having any idea about art, that is fine arts, Bharatanatyam, could connect to the fine arts or the depiction of arts and dance as given in this novel. So this was almost the first 2 sessions, I think. In the next session, Dr. Revati Subramaniam spoke on role of gender, and she was very really she was surprised that yeah, house husband, homemaker husband could be a main character. So this she found it as outstanding, and Gautam Sashidharan felt this novel demands the reader to read creatively. There is a creative reading required, and then only one can decide what Raghu did to Purna, the main protagonist. And the book does not allow the reader to continue in a comfort zone. That also Gautam Sashidharan said. Sridhanya, in her speech or in her review, she told the depiction of histories or with the research background, the history has been brought out very well, both during Mughal era and the British era as well, both on tribals, has been brought out well in the novel. She feels there were changes in British era for tribals and artists. And Usha Nagasamy madam felt that the protagonist Purna's longing for motherhood has been brought out very well in the novel, and she could relate to it. So these were the outstanding what impressed. That is, all the speakers spoke very elaborately from the viewpoint of what they found outstanding or what impressed them most. I have taken this. Now, I think I must start my views. So I would start with the uniqueness of the novels or what makes this outstanding. So we broadly find in this novel that it is the narrative form and content, both in form and content in the narratives. It's modern and in some areas postmodern. So why the author must have chosen this? Simply to bring something in modern and postmodern, or was there any reason behind it? So what I felt is realism. Realism cannot carry the expanse and complexity of this theme. This is a white canvas. So aptly, both modern and postmodern narratives have been brought in by the author. That makes this book unique. It is simply very aptly and very suitably brought into the novel. Secondly, what I felt is the script, the author, and characters are mutually exclusive. So the reader's creative reading only will give him the will make him connect the dots. He cannot connect the script and the author and the characters with a preconceived notion or a conservative reading outlook. This is the second uniqueness I felt about this novel. Thirdly, the novel very subtly questions the hypes about the institution of family. It's very subtly, but it's doing it subtly, but it is certainly doing it. Fourth, I found even the women speakers so far did notice one thing. The novel very subtly but very strongly puts forth one thing. A liberated female may completely trash all yardsticks celebrated by women as symbols or features of beauty. So this has come out very well in the novel. This is not subjective. It has not been given subjective with one character. Actually, we are going to talk about that character later, mostly in the next session, I think. I will cover anyway. I've taken some small notes so that I don't blah blah irrelevantly. So connecting with this, the fifth point. So with connecting with this, there is another thing I find in the novel which many women readers or speakers missed out. So there is a clear line drawn in this novel between a liberated woman and scores of women looking for liberation elsewhere. This is something even my respected female speakers missed out.
I did talk about it in my feminism, that the whole topic was about that.
Sorry if I didn't notice it. Anyway, I just mentioned. Next, and I stand corrected by Madam Usha. Next is sixth thing is that I congratulate the author for most I think the characterization of two striking characters. So actually I had expected more listeners. So when I tell two striking characters, instantly even the other two people may feel that it is Raghu and Purna. It is Raghu and Tanya, not Purna. Of course, it is not that I am going to omit Purna, but I am going to come to her in the next session only. In this session, actually, I don't find much to talk about her. The novel, and I would say one more thing, that is, subtly and continuously, this novel keeps posing a question to the readers. The question is whether a woman is half. So this question, this question is there in all the eras given in the novel. The novel swaps between eras with various characters of various, but this question lingers. Whether a woman is half, in the sense whether she is incomplete without a man. This question, I don't think it has been answered, but it is lingering throughout the novel. This I found, this is something unique. And last but not the least, I will say the uniqueness of the novel in the research. I think in this output or in this shape, many researchers and historians and students will certainly refer to it when they are touching the Devadasis plight or the historical part of it. Actually, my speech will be incomplete if I don't mention what kind of uniqueness we must look for as a reader. That is, it's not easy to write a fiction in this era with the very seasoned readers and wonderful works that have come out so far in various languages, particularly in English. Because not that in various other languages, not that they were in any works were in any way less, but these works have also reached English by way of translation, mostly. Very good works, most of the works have come to English also. So when we find that, so when an author is stepping into bringing out a fiction in English, that too venturing into such a core or such a very vast, expansive topic and a very big canvas, so the challenges are many, her choices are limited. So in every uh, aspect of this novel, whether it is the swapping of eras or the characterizations or bringing out the theme in various uh, narratives like interviews in some place and chats in some other place or modern or postmodern mail or Twitter like narratives or conversations in this book. So in this work, we find that the author has worked so hard that makes it wonderful for the reader. If he finds a wonderful experience, it is because the author has worked so much in this novel. While skimming the chapters, from skimming the chapters to editing and giving the final output. So the choices before the author are many. One, even as an author, as a reviewer, one can say that even some readers might have felt that she could have uh, given probably one a very good classical one based only on the golden era or the Devadasi system or Chola era or something. Or people can say this character could have been highlighted more, or this could have been handled like this, or this could have been elaborated, this could have been shrunk. I would even say that there is scope for all this even in this book. There is scope for elongating in some areas. There is scope for editing and cutting in some areas. There is certainly scope. But even if I take up certain things, I try to reshape this novel, it will have some lacuna. So this effort is endless. The kind of modern painting an author is drawing, it has so many options. So it can have more than one output, which are equally good or which are unique. Each one stands out. So I find the subtlety and the creative requirement of creative reading and the swapping of eras, all this have been done very, very carefully, craftily, so that the main point or the uniqueness I found in this novel is that the novel is on two tracks or two main themes. One is the plight of Devadasis, and the other is the question whether a woman is half. So on this question and on the plight of Devadasis, on both of these, just like a track of a train, the novel is smoothly progressing. So the swapping of eras are highlighting of the plight of modern women, their emotional reaction, and as an artist, their inner core, and as a woman, their preferences, their the setbacks their minds suffer, and the acute pain they bear in the breakups. All these things have been brought out. And one more thing, what I would say is that the swapping of eras or bringing the modern era was required because there are two main characters. Of course, now I am telling Purna only here. Purna and Tanya. They are from the lineage of Devadasi system. And in the they continue in the modern era. Now when I mention modern era, now I am reminded of a book reviewed. Of course, I am not reviewing that book now. I have not read it either. But recently, I participated in a book review of meeting of 3,000 stitches. Of course, the author is an eminent person, Sudha Murthy. She is an eminent person and she is a social, I must say, worker or philanthropist. Or we cannot say activist, but she does a lot of service to the society in her various forms. So when she went about in Karnataka working for women, for the downtrodden or the poor women, out of them there were about 3,000 women who had been pushed into prostitution, unfortunately. So these women, due to the help of Sudha Murthy, they could come out of that stigma and they could start a new life, and all of them met together somehow, not on the same day. All of them contributed to one shawl, stitching each thread, one thread at least. So there are 3,000 at least minimum stitches done by all these loving women. So now I am referring here for some other thing. So when the group was discussing about this book, the other readers, of course, I have not read it yet. They were mentioning, one person was mentioning 3,000 Devadasis. Then correctly one madam or one girl or madam, she correctly pulled him up. How you are calling there are 3,000, all the 3,000 are Devadasis. Devadasis. They are the lineage from Devadasis. So after some discussions, they concluded that some of them, how many of them we don't know, could be of Devadasi lineage and clan. So that makes this novel a lot more relevant even today. There are many people who are the descendants of Devadasis who could not do away with the stigma and who are forced to continue the profession into which they were unfortunately pushed into. And this makes this novel a lot more relevant even today. So the reference to modern women who are artists. So if the Devadas is like Nakkan, they suffered in one way, in one aspect of, in some other way. These women are suffering in some other way as they are pursuing art, both as women and as artists. This in-depth view, which is overlapping into the contemporary era, is one of the most striking things that makes this novel outstanding. So I think with this, I must wrap up my session for the what makes Misplaced Regards outstanding. And I think there will be a break now due to the Zoom technical issues. And after the break, I will try to continue with this one, dreams and depression.
Yeah, even if I go, I think after the break I will also come because I have a few things to discuss on the question answer. But right now, I think let's take a break. Come back and on 2 minutes.
You mean we break, is it? Shall I break? End it?
I don't know. Yeah, I think we should break. Yeah. I'll ask all the questions to Mr. Muralidharan afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Shall I end it? So and
end it and we will start again. 1 second.
Restart again.
So the second session or the other topic is about dreams and depression. I think this gives another insight into the novel, because basically the novel is, as at the outset, as thought about others, it is about it is the two main characters, or the protagonist is Purna, and the kind of perverted or weird kind of psychology is Raghu and all that. I told it he's a strong character in the previous issue. And same thing I told about Tanya also. So when we come to this session, this dreams and depression. Actually, the entire characterization of Purna goes with a dream. She's quite happy as a partner, wife, and mother of Raghu's child, partner of Raghu, wife of Raghu, and the mother of his child. In a dreamland, when that dreamland is snatched away from her, when she is denied, when she is deprived of that, then only her depression sets in. So here, there is no generalization or judgmental things in this novel. For this character, it is either dream or dreamland or depression. So she was quite happy with the dream thing. That is, they were even able to fall in love without meeting, and it was like a dream, as if she's leading a life with him, just through things, without any practical roof or anything. She was leading a family itself. So even when that is denied to her, snatched away from her, so it is from dream to depression. So the contrast we are seeing in Tanya, of course, it is completely, so this is one thing. One thing also I can say that Purna is the person who felt that woman is half. She is wholesome only with her partner. At least that character felt like it. But Tanya actually, in Dagu's depiction, he's being a chauvinist on one hand and remaining a homemaker on the other hand. This is really a very good, he's a strong character. Of course, maybe negative, a strong character, very different character. So this creative, because it's very difficult to find such a character around in our normal life. Even for authors who are observing, I don't think one can find such a person. Whereas Tanya is having, there is another contradiction. This is Raghu's contradiction. There is a contradiction in Tanya also. Tanya is the strongest character who can even transfer her whole head and after the breakup and then bounce back. But the kind of pain she undergoes, it is nowhere less than Purna. Those who read the novel in depth, they can find that Tanya, even though she is certainly like she is resurrecting herself with the dream or the passion. So dream or passion is the escape route for her. That is the rope that will bring her back, bring her out of the quicksand. So dream and depression, so far as Purna is concerned, it is from dreamland to depression. For Tanya, the dreams can bring her out of, her passion can bring her out of the depression. But for the kind of strong character, she certainly doesn't believe that woman is wrong. But still, her love for Rishi. He is in no way less than Purna. So what we find is that both of them are in different generations. There is a generation gap. She belongs to the modern age, or she is much younger, but the devotion is same. I could appreciate it. So, but does the novel stop here in this topic, dream and depression? Does the novel stop with Purna and Tanya? Because at least let us take Purna. Actually, to be honest, okay, before I move on to the next question or next view of mine, I must say that Raghu was also depressed. But he was equally having chauvinism or ego or perversions which were preventing him from finding solutions, even if they are available within or outside. So I think these are the three main characters we are able to relate to in this era. That is, in this era novel depicts. Has the novel touched anything about this in the previous era or any other part of novel? I find something very damaging actually. Let us see one thing. Okay, let me start with this. Let us again go back to Tanya. Actually, what I liked is the way Tanya bounces back, after tonsuring her head, she's telling she may hold the dance drama of Buddha's life, in which Yashodhara may also be there. Actually, Yashodhara also took to sannyas. Actually, probably she was the first woman priest. Yashodhara and the foster mother of Buddha. Both of them were the earliest women, I must say. Of course, from the clan only first few women came. Of course, that is a different story. So, what I'm telling, at this juncture, whether such a dance drama of which is not in the part of Tamil Kritis or Sanskrit Kritis or Telugu Kritis, would that have been possible in a Chola era? Such a dance drama, which is whole new creative. Actually, those who have visited the Sangeet Natak Academy of New Delhi, or some of the dance dramas held by Dr. Padma Subramaniam and Dr. Dhananjay, we can see that only they are coming out with the innovative things. I actually saw one thing very closely in Kalakshetra. Dr. Dhananjay had brought out something about the Charitram of, or the history of Nandanar story, Nandanar Charitram. Nandanar, of course, that we can discuss separately. So this might not have been possible in Chola. So the kind of dreams or depression, nothing was possible, or rather, they were so depressed that they didn't even know, both be it Nakkan or any other female during that era, or even the Apsaras referred to in another chapter in the novel. These Apsaras, who were part of the kingdom of Indra, that is Devalok. Even in that court, whether they were having that freedom, they were not having any freedom. They were not having any freedom to dream. This we find subtly in this novel. So when we are talking about depression, there is no depression or dream, simply dictation. In those eras, we see Nakkan's daughter Nila. So when the Nila grows up, there is nothing left for anybody else, even for Nakkan, to think of any future for her. Of course, somebody can ask me, in those days girls would have been married. Okay, even that was not there. She was automatically selected. So even though initially, this novel, I think it is bringing out everything. Even though initially it was a voluntary thing, or the parent making their daughter be a part of the temple procedures, the temple woman or the respected woman. But later on, it becomes a thing of family hierarchy. It becomes compulsory. It becomes a profession, and there is no choice. So all these are subtly coming out in this novel. So the most depressing thing, both for the reader and for the women in those era, was that there was no question of their understanding what they are undergoing or their dreaming anything as an alternative. Somebody wants to marry Nakkan. He has only chosen that. She has not chosen him. They are seeing everything there. The author is not telling directly. She is watching him from hiding from someone. We are seeing it. Actually, I had read the first reading 6 months before. I refreshed recently the main characters that those have stayed in my mind and refreshed. So far as dreams and depressions are concerned, the way dreams are with us, or the dreams live up our life, that has been brought out very clearly. So if Purna revives, and there is likelihood of her reviving, it will be again in the dreamland only. She can probably again dream about the child, about Raghu, even though he is not with her anymore or he is not worthy of any reminiscence anymore. So far as Anya is concerned, her dreams or her passion brings her back, and she is giving a performance. And that performance is whole new, very creative for the tradition of Bharatanatyam. So the dreams and depression, this part of it, it has another subtle dimension in this novel. The stress of Raghu or the depression in Raghu, the depression in Purna are not their own making, or that didn't happen in one go. Purna has so many things other than Raghu also to get depressed. She is not able to trace her. She knows almost, but she is not actually able to establish her parents or the grandparents. If I am wrong, the author can correct it. Next, same with Tanya. Tanya had so many other things even before meeting Rishi. She is herself telling in the first, I think there are 3 parts of the interviews. The first interview itself, she is telling that she had broken breakup of relationships, and the impact is there on her also. So it is not that the depression is sitting on a person, all of his own making. It's perpetrated. There is some abatement, some role of abatement done by someone else or some other factors. So when we find that this very abstract thing, this topic is very abstract, but this we find it clearly coming in these 3 characters, Raghu, Tanya and Purna in the modern age, and all others in the previous era. That is, who are completely denied any dream whatsoever. So I think I can wrap up the second session with this. And certainly, I don't think whether I have spoken anything for question and answer. Rather, the author can comment on anything I have omitted or anything I have. Even though after 6 months, I tried to revise some parts of the novel. If I have quoted her wrongly, also she can tell. And any other questions also we can discuss. I think we may have to break and come back for another session. Am I right? Or we can discuss now.
You can just continue.
Oh, okay. So we'll continue.
So, Usha, you can come. I can't hear you, Usha. Is it mute? Check. something is wrong with Usha's network, I think. You're able to
No, I think she has unmute. I think we can see her talking. She has to
yeah.
unmute. She's able to. She's talking, but maybe her audio is mute, video is on mute. Probably.
Okay, I will just acknowledge what Mr. Muralidharan has talked. I must say he has really listed out the uniqueness of the novel, Misplaced Heads, and followed by the dreams and depressions. Like he said, yes, every character had some depression, some kind of depression, some kinds of dreams, and they are probably also, you know, they're all are related in some way or the other. For example,
I think Madam is asking whether we can unmute. I think why Madam is not able to unmute? Maybe she has gone to PC.
So when you see the protagonist, he has really very well said that she dreamt. She had her own dreams of getting a daughter. Getting a daughter. She's so obsessed with having a daughter. There are high chance that it can be a boy also. I mean, it's not that she wouldn't know, she knows, but the dream is there. The dream of having a daughter. And assuming that Raghu will father her daughter, those are dreams. At the same time, dreams as dreams also are there. As in, she gets a dream. If she is getting a dream like she's married, she gets to hear a news of death. That is the dream by itself, dream as dream. So having ambitions, aspirations, we can refer them as dreams. We can also say the dreams as dreams. So both parts can be talked about. So for example, Purna has a dream where, you know, where she's heavily pregnant. So that her aspiration, her interest in her interest, involvement in having a daughter, the thought, that kind of a dream itself is thinking in her so much that she's really, you know, dreaming of a girl in her womb. So she's heavily pregnant with a girl and the baby in her womb is talking to her. So a woman's obsession with having a daughter, the idea of having a daughter, that obsession is going into another level to the extent that she's having a dream of carrying her daughter and the daughter talks to her. And that itself is a dream by itself. So that's how I see those things. And one point many readers have really, many readers have not caught one point. That point is Meghala in the second era. She's a dancer in the Thiruvarur, the car festival. Remember, she dances the
Yeah.
So she talks to a man who proposes indirectly. She keeps saying, "I don't want your eggs, but I want you." Whereas in this contemporary era, Purna says, I want your egg, even if you don't want to give yourself to me. That contrast
no,
was not intended. But later on, when I was just thinking about it, later on, even after the print copy was out, I was able to connect this point, which was not even intentional.
Intended.
Yeah. So you can talk, Usha. Now it's clear and nice. You can talk. Later on, Danya will join us. So
Yeah.
I have joined.
yeah, I know you have joined, but in the talk. So how was your session? How was your session, Danya?
It was good. They had asked like very normal questions and all.
Fantastic. And you look very nice today.
Thank you.
And Usha, you had
As usual.
much to talk, you said, Usha. You can take
No, I had a few questions for Mr. Muralidharan. He said that one of the female speakers picked up on certain aspects of the uniqueness that he found. But actually, we did talk about the feminism. We did talk about how Purna was more subdued, and Tanya is the ferocious female there. And Mr. Muralidharan also made a point about because I had so many issues today with the
I'll tell you. I will remind you. No, actually, what I told is, when Tanya is doing away with her hair, that is tonsuring herself, for of course some drama or anything, but she is finding some liberation also. She finds some expression of liberation. And I found that. So trashing the things which are separated as beauty features.
Yeah, she's disowning that. That was the one thing I think I did mention, and also yeah. And also you said that there is a feeling that the woman is flawed, and there is a question raised, and it's running throughout all the female characters. Actually, you're missing the point. I would say, if you think she brings out the flaws in the men as well as the women, and I think all the men are flawed in so many ways, and I think all the women are also. Nobody is perfect. And I think the author, if she can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the author throws light on the frailties and the weaknesses of human nature very well, and she is actually saying that, if Tanya can be flawed, she can be flawed, or Purna, or anybody else, and it makes no difference whether they're male or female. I think that is one thing unique about the way this novel has progressed. And I actually, in my feminism aspect, I raised the question: why are all the men so weak? Rishi is so weak, Tarun is weak, and also Raghu is the weakest link I think in Purna's life, and though he is also somebody who gave her some consolation and comfort in all of her troubles. So this is my question. How do you declare that women are flawed, and this question about the flaws of women are not answered till the end of the story? Why did you come to that
conclusion? Actually, I think I was not communicating properly. Now I will again repeat what I told. So I told that there is a subtle question lingers throughout in all eras, whether women are half, whether women are incomplete without men. That's all. That is what I mentioned. I didn't say that flaw.
Okay.
Yeah, whether a woman's life,
actually income
existence, whether it is incomplete without a man.
Let me contribute here. You can see in the ancient eras and the contemporary, the female characters are not the same. They have not fallen similarly. How and why? In the Devadasi system, the woman had respect and freedom naturally, very naturally. It was not asked, it was not given, it was not even thought about, but it was there naturally. Whereas in the contemporary world, the conflicts come because she wants, because the era and the contemporary in between has the colonial period. And that colonial period has put in us something that is making this wanting in this contemporary woman. Or she thinks she is missing something, or she thinks she has some void in her. She needs something, some validation, or some liberation, as he said, or some freedom of expression, thoughts and things. She gives so much importance to those things, mainly because I feel personally that she was denied those, but not in those times. In Devdasi system of temple dancers, that community, they didn't have that. The women had, in fact, marginally upper level of freedom. They didn't have to ask for it. They didn't have to compare. Or in fact, the men of those times also did not feel they were in any way inferior, or they were oppressed. They weren't. So they didn't have to. They didn't have to ask for it. They didn't want to always think about it. They had it. That's all. And I think that has come out here. There were no voices that were shouting those times, whereas the contemporary women had loud voices, if I can say that. What do you think, Usha? You can take over, please.
I think you are right. I mean, see, there was no need to raise their voices in the past. They were actually given almost equality of expression, and there was no need to actually be heard. Now there is because of the contrast of oppression, we are actually seeking to be heard, because we are trying to be recognized for our contributions and intelligence and whatever skills, anything on par. So there was no need earlier. I think that's why perhaps they were just expressing themselves as normal men do or women do. There was no discrepancy.
In fact, those times, as far as I know, or as far as my research goes, I understand the women were a little more appreciated, respected than the men, because those times they thought she's the one who gives birth to another life. Or, for example, in this hereditary dancer system, she's the one who's going to give birth to another artist in the future. Nakkan, he said, she's not able to think of any other option for her daughter. She wants her daughter to be another dancer, a temple woman only. Happily so. It's not.
And yeah, there was no shame or any stigma attached at that time. Yes,
that is one. Another, it was a respectable profession, if I must say. So she didn't have to think of any other. And he said Nakkan did not choose that man, the man chose Nakkan. Yes, correct. Because affluent family, and yes. But she gave birth to his daughter. So it was not something like what happened later on in the era of the court dances or the kings having or forcefully possessing the dancers, courtesans. Nakkan's era was far behind pre-medieval, I think. So those times, she was so revered, and she knows her daughter will be respected in the temple community rather than outside. He comes with his family. She is able to see him. She knows he's the guy, father of the child. She wants to show him to the daughter, but she knows it's no point also showing, and so she just hides. He talks to that child because he's able to find the resemblance of himself and Nakkan in her, but he also walks away because he knows he is only in the grip of the family, the family status and things. So that was the state, that was the social state that time, isn't it? So it was just an imagery of the one character for the readers to think more deeper. So what else you wanted to talk, Musha? You told me you have many.
Oh, no, over to Danya, and then we can take it from there.
Yes,
I mean, let's
Danya, of course you didn't listen to.
I didn't listen to the speech. Yeah.
But anyways, you can talk anything from whatever we just talked.
But you must not talk that I was very happy not to listen for the first time.
I will never say that. I will never say that. I was feeling bad that I had asked them to put me up first, but they couldn't. So
no, actually, you did the right thing. Actually, otherwise the wait is indefinite. It takes time. Even I took 20 minutes to talk.
I was happy that Jayanthi aunty could accommodate it. You know, when I sent her the mail, the moment I got the mail from Cherry Awards, I had sent aunty the mail. She was like, "You take care, you do that." I was thinking, how can I just do that?
She's having a set of questions, you know.
I said
you are bright enough to do it.
Because I was the one who insisted on her applying, and this is important. I said, you go there, you can join later. Okay, anyways.
Okay, that is not the point here. Let's come to
Danya, what do you think about the dreams and depressions of depicted in the novel?
I feel the depression, like there are some books which will, when you close the book also you'll be depressed. No? And like when I used to tell you also when I met you, whenever I read Khalid Hosseini, the book leaves us with so much pain. It leaves us with so much pain.
Thousand
you start,
Suns, my favorite.
Yeah, yes. The Thousand Splendid Suns, and my favorite book is the Kite Runner.
I know.
Yeah. So this book, though there have been points of depression through the book, because you had finished it in a way that there is scope for Purna to become better. I think we are not taking away depression with us. There is a feeling of depression which is coming through the book, but at least the end there is a little hope. If you hadn't given us that insight into her life, then I think your book would have left us depressed for a while. The readers also depressed for a while. And the dreams, two things I wanted to talk about the dreams in the book was that one is the dream that she gets, Purna gets of the child, which you had also expressed in your second session, that it was something that you have also thought about and all that. That was very. It was not just well thought out. It was also very well written. We felt like we were having that. I'm sure every woman of around like maybe 20-25 years, about 25 years, she will understand that feeling of that motherly feeling of a woman, and especially to have a girl child. That is I think like it's like like so many fathers, when a nurse comes out of the room, like it's shown in so many movies. The fathers will get elated when they say, no, ungalku payyam pirandirukku. I think that though women don't express, we don't say like we want a girl child, though we love our sons more than the girl child, but there is a small part of us which will be like, I want that, that girl factor in the family. I think that is very beautifully brought out here. And maybe the dancer in her, wants a girl child so that she could make her a dancer.
He
That's
wants
what
to,
I felt.
she wants to leave
The
a
legacy.
part of her, yes, legacy.
Yeah, the legacy.
Part of her art to be on earth after she leaves, and it's quite natural.
And I felt that the conversation between Rajendra Chola and Purna also was almost like a dream, because it was,
Yeah.
I mean, it might be a lucid dream, like a dream when you're not psychologically all right, but it still felt like a lucid dream to me than an action scene or something.
Those can be interpreted like both ways. Like you said, lucid dreams, they can be seen as, or they can be seen as how Purna is so obsessed with her search that she goes on researching, and she ends up, imagining talking with Rajendra. That is one way to interpret. And that comes in right in the middle of the novel. If it had come earlier, it wouldn't have been as effective, because after so much of search, so many eras she sees, and when it comes, a reader can read it as that, like she's either lucid dream or obsessed thoughts, like. So even the other one, and email to Sundar Pichai.
Yeah. And I think if Tanya was not in the novel, all of us would have felt, it would have been a harrowing novel. It would have been like, we all would have felt that pain longer. If you had not shown, I felt when I read the book, Tanya was maybe your version, like I told you in the second session also, it was your version of showing us, if Purna was a new age woman, she would have done what Tanya had did. If she was a 30-year-old or a 25-year-old, you were showing what Purna couldn't do through Tanya. That's what I felt. So if Tanya hadn't been there, then definitely we would have been more depressed.
No, I mentioned one thing before you are coming back. I mentioned one thing. That is, what I mentioned is, the author has given the devotion is equally there in Tanya also. So the hurt is also equally there. But she uses the dreams as for a resurrection,
Yes.
for coming out of it, for bouncing back. Whereas without the dreams, Purna is depressed. She is having depression.
And one beautiful thing that I noted in the novel is, Auntie, see, all of us, most of us, when we watch movies or when we read books, when they're showing a hero or when they're showing a protagonist, the let's not, I don't want to call it flaws, but the negatives in the character, no, they will be very much justified. Like if you look at a hero, and if he's like this, like a huge businessman or something, and he drinks and smokes, and that will be justified in the novel itself. The author will make sure that his negative actions are justified. In real life, I don't think it is justified. I don't think we can justify also, because the negatives in a person will be in so much contrast with their positives that anyone that looks at them will be like, are you the same person who was capable of doing that? That is what I felt. That is where reality struck in the novel, because both your characters, Tanya, and their negatives were so contrast to their actual character that it made it real. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been real. It would have been cinematic.
Yes, it has to be. I mean, characters, if it is either too straightforward, proper, or too negative, it's actually not credible. The characters won't be credible. We humans, we have both the positives and the other sides in us. It's always there. It's only how much or how we
Yeah.
balance forward.
Yeah.
Those are the things. And in
And
fact, one of my
especially in
young
yeah, yeah.
reader asked me, told me after finishing the reading of the novel, she asked me, told me, my mother wouldn't like Purna's character. So yes, I mean it's more to do with exposure in reading. If the person is young or old, it doesn't matter. They may not like Purna's character if they are not exposed to reading much, because they will only equate her character as extramarital. But it isn't. It isn't like that. It is more to it. And another 50-year-old woman, my friend, she said, she's another. She rarely reads fiction. She reads only non-fiction. Very nice friend of mine. She said, Jayanthi, Jayanthi, I can't stand such extramarital characters like Raghu or Purna.
But that is reality.
I thought that's too narrow to look at things. The novel is not just about that. If you're going to read only that string of it, then that shows you haven't read much. And what are the other things about? Those two characters are so rounded. They have so much that you can discuss, isn't it? So, but in general, whoever read it, they have all been reading very well. You were about to tell something, Usha?
No, I just said that, if you look at reality today, you have to come, the person who said something like that, obviously also is out of touch with reality today. The
reality are different, yes. Whatever they are thinking that those are too idealistic. And
yeah, exactly. We all have framework in our heads, and we live in that little bubble. So outside the bubble, they don't know. So we all have different realities. I'm aware of that.
With this sweet friend of mine, when she said, I don't like that, no? I said, who likes? But this is a story. This is the world I have created.
And also, it's not about like or dislike. So, if you watch a movie, you do not necessarily like all of the characters. You're not supposed to, and you just take it as it is. And
I like this character, but that part of him I don't like. That's what we say. We normally don't say that character is exactly what I like. So it's all the mixture of good and bad.
I found this one thing when I told you now, Auntie, when I said that, when it became realistic when the negatives were, were so contrast to the positive. I found that more pronounced when you say, like, Purna is a 50-year-old woman and she's already been through a divorce.
Yeah.
It's not like this man is the first man she has ever seen, and it's not like this. He's the, he's the only one who has given her attention all her life.
Yeah.
She's already been through a divorce. And she's known all these feelings. She has gone through a breakup once, and for her to have the courage to fall in love again, and then be betrayed, and then come out of it, all of us were like, even if it were me, if Purna was a friend of mine, I would have asked her, why? Why would you even fall? You've already been through it once. Why do you want to fall? That I think is the reality. That I think is a real, because all of us do things which even our best friends even our closest friends will be like, why you being this person, why did you do this?
Yes.
And that was even very beautifully brought out.
Even Tanya.
Yeah, even in Tanya. She never even trusted any men, and suddenly when this man came up and he came up with this proposal of marrying another woman and still being in love with this girl, she said yes. I mean, why did you say yes then? So these things were.
She was stubbornly, resolved to stay single. Remember?
Exactly.
She had she had a breakup recently, and she was stubborn actually.
I think all the characters have that running. Even in Raghu, if you see, he wants his girl to be, he has a daughter. So he wants his girl to be well and good. And he cooks and fends for the family, meaning he is not misogynistic. He doesn't care about all these gender stereotypes the world has created. When he doesn't care about the gender stereotypes the world has created, why does he care about what the world thinks about his marital life? Why would you stick to a marriage which is not going well? Right?
And
It shows the complexity of a human mind and how we same situation, how we change it to our own, needs.
advantage.
Same thing.
And
The
yeah,
hypocrisy in the human mind is shown.
yeah, I'm reading a book, Sita's Sister, and in that there's this conflict of we all focus on Sita and Ram and all that. We don't know about Urmila's
And
character.
Lakshman. Yeah.
Was already that this guy is totally besotted with the brother, and in spite of that, she chooses. She's so intelligent, she's so clear thinking, like you're saying, Danya, but she chooses to actually accept to be second place, or even and knowing, and that is actually your she's making a concession. She says very clearly that I'd rather be a little part of his life rather than being without him totally. So maybe that is Purna's argument as well. And this has been through the ages a woman's lot, or even some men's lot. Rather than totally give up on somebody, you'd like to be a little part of that person.
Yeah.
It is compromising. It is compromising on character and your self-esteem and all of that. I understand, but sometimes the circumstances.
I think the heart wants what it wants. I think that is the point here.
And we don't choose who you fall in love with and when. And
We
also,
don't.
as you said, why this? Why is not a question we can't answer ever when affairs of you cannot say why. And rich men and ugly women and whatever, all these combinations happen because the heart wants what it wants, as you said. Yeah.
No, that I found was that touch of, see, we all of us read a lot of fiction. We all read many books, and and almost like 70% of it, or the movies that we watch, we know it is fictitious. And we just go through it because we just there for the experience. But like 30% of the books or movies, we connect to it so deep that we understand there is a lot of reality behind it, and there is some connection with the reality, and we are so connected that we won't be able to come out of it for a very long time.
That is what makes work universal in its appeal. Be it Shakespeare, be it even this book of Jayanthi or any other very good quality. It's the same 80-20 rule applies even in this, I would say. 80% is complete trash, and whether it is films or books. But the 20%, when you come across gems like this, it leaves you with this universal appeal to the human nature, and it just leaves you so satisfied and so constantly reflecting about the things. And and I always do this, and my sister is different from me. She works almost like compartmentalizing things, but I like to mix everything up. Always I find sense in my experience. Oh, where did I see such a person, or where did I see such an experience? Always I relate that way, different ways. So when I'm reading a book, like you said, if I find something that I have been through or something that speaks to my emotions, that will stay with me for a long time. That is natural. I think that's the way.
It's not unnatural. It's very natural, in fact. It's very natural.
I think Usha ma'am had rightly said, like all of us, all the speakers were like, we were connecting different things. We were like, the life of Purna is so much like the Devdasis. Her graph is so much like the era. All of us were giving connection, and not once Jayanthi ma'am said there is a connection. I think it is our minds, like you said, we go to come. compartmentalized that we're connecting all these to each other. And it was, I don't think
I
it was an
know,
intention.
I know how human, see, when we, fiction writers, we write, we leave scope for the imagination of the readers, and that's where the participation comes. Each has their own imagination, their own creative participation, and that's how
Yes.
the novel is a success. And
Otherwise, it becomes so very, very monotonous. I have read
if I'm going to tell you everything, not just show
that's
the
yeah.
abstract,
Yeah.
abstract elements there. If I'm going to
True.
tell you everything, Purna is thinking like this, Raghu is thinking like this. If I'm going to tell, it's boring. And it restricts the reader's imagination, isn't it?
Listen to Muralidharan sir also. After he connects, I think I ask.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now I have come.
Can I ask? Yeah. So through the book, no, what has happened is there are these like snippets where the chapter itself is called Men Talk. Through the book, whenever the men become the point of expression, there's this chapter which comes in which says the Men Talk. Yeah. What did you feel about? Because did you as a man? I'm not asking you as an author or anything. As a man, did you feel like it was a little odd, or did you feel like it was justified for her to name it that way?
Actually, I only appreciated her because this is one area a woman is a woman, of course. You can't say in nowadays because once a person is exposed to various, still a woman can't. A female writer is not facilitated to write all their one-to-one talk between men. Probably, I'm not telling conclusively. So she did well. That's what I thought. Whereas a female talk, it is very much available for men. It's really very odd. The moment I get into the lift, till I reach my 6th floor, I am terrorized. That female talk must not start. They can't wait till they exit. Where did you buy this saree? They can't wait till 6th floor. They can't have some empathy for the men around. So much is available for men. So I told it in a writer way. So actually, let me talk again seriously. So when I talk seriously, I have expressed in the review also. I have told. In the review, I told that I appreciated the men talk. One line is coming there. But actually, in my views, I cannot. I'm not selling it right now to you also either. But my view, I often done. I have told the women, man and woman, or the world of men and women is unbridgeable. It's mutually exclusive. And this is one thing I have found. The other thing is Indian or Asian men are chauvinist by birth. It's deep rooted. If I am controlling it, if I am controlling that part of mine, maybe I have got seasoned, or probably because of books or something, I got some reformation in me. So these are the points I got in my mind. So whatever things she's telling about men, or actually the character was really very complex character. To be honest, the complexity of Raghu's character, it's one of the rare creations. I like it because such a character, it's not easy to find at all. That is both extremes, doing house homemaker,
Yeah.
all these things I told. So there, but Tanya's character, I felt that she's also equally upset, but she bounces back. That's all.
Do
I
you
wanted,
think she has rightly, like there are so many men, like not just Raghu, there is that I don't know, Tanya's guy, and there is there is Rishi, and there is this Purna's first husband. They all talk in the men's talk, right? Do you think Jayanti ma'am was able to tap into their minds well. Do you
Oh,
think
yes, no, I appreciated it. I appreciated it. It's not quite fine. It's quite fine.
Personally,
Generally, okay, carry on. It was
no,
fine only.
no. Men talk helped me because all the eras were full of women. Because the system of temple dances happens to be
the world
women,
of women?
and then contemporary threads also were predominantly women. Two of them, Tanya and Purna. Although Raghu was there, Rishi came and went. But what I needed was to show, I think 4 or 5 times it comes, different places. The first is, I think, Tanjavur, Bragadishwara. So I needed to show the psychology of the men, or how the men would have thought during that period. And the other one comes in tram, 2 men are talking. Another comes in the Thai
Restaurant, yeah.
Thai club, yes.
Strip club,
restaurant.
yeah. Strip club or restaurant.
3 of them anymore. Yeah, Raghu and his friend talks. So 4 places. And these places, those chapters helped me to bring out Raghu's, Sam's, and those 2 priests in the temple. And colonial, the abolition time, a man, how is affected, you see. The man, he's expected to marry and go into the mainstream, and he tries, but he has his own challenges in the family life, young man. So that kind of a character, the men's side, it helped me because if those 4 or 5 chapters, imagine those 4 or 5 chapters are not there in the novel, it will, I think it will read too one-sided. It might read one-sided, or it might read like it's only feminine. It's already feminine and feministic novel. With those, there was a balance. Purna and Tanya, they balance the women-centric theme and balance with these. I mean, they did some justice to balance, although not too much. So it helped. And I too liked those men characters. Even Mr. Muralidharan, when he read for the first time, he said those are unique and nice. It complements the women-centric theme. So, yeah.
I think I have, that's all the questions I have.
Even Usha is not around. She has not come back. I think she's busy with So, do you have anything, Mr. Muralidharan, for some time, if you want to take before we wrap up?
No. We can wrap up. But what I will say is that there is just now as I think Usha remarked, or just before going, I think, or Sridhanya remarked, emotionally women are stronger. But these are my limited views. I may be wrong. You can correct me, not here itself, later on. It's a personal view. Generally, I don't bring my personal view in fiction also. I write fiction as a fiction, whatever I have seen. But I find women think that their life is incomplete without a man. Sincerely.
Most women think that, yes. Most women think.
I appreciate it. I'm not telling it's a weakness.
Even if women don't think, the society will make her think.
I like that.
Even if a girl thinks, okay, I'm complete, I can
no,
be on my own, I don't want anyone, the society, her
I'm
parents,
coming.
her relatives will tell her, no,
I'll come to that. I'll come to that separately. What I'm telling you, you are telling about social order. That is a very big topic. Emotionally, I think that is personally, a woman sincerely believes, I think. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. One second. Hello. Okay. Suddenly it went this side. Okay. So that's all. Yeah, very nice. Even though the audience, they are not there, maybe they will watch later on in the recording.
Yes. So Gautam Sashidharan normally comes, but he didn't come today. And Sukhdev Kumar also has not come today. But nevertheless, the session was very good. It doesn't matter, lesser members are there. And thank you, Mr. Muralidharan. You did the show today. Sincere thanks, and thanks Danya for joining,
Thank you.
even though late, and thanks to Usha also. Bye.
Bye.